Welcome back to Grow with Manny, your channel for growth. Now, in today's food for thought, we're going to talk about critics on our journey. Now, let's start off with this quote, this amazing quote from Aristotle. We can easily avoid criticism by saying nothing, by doing nothing, and by being nothing. In simpler terms, if we want to play it safe and avoid any judgments, we can just sit on the sidelines. That's okay. But here's the catch. If we do choose to step into the arena, we're bound to face some critics along the way. Now, I know the word critic, it leaves a bad taste in our mouth, right? But bear with me for a moment. Let me share a quick example with you. A few days ago, I posted a video about owning up to your mistake. But guess what? I misspelled your on the thumbnail. Now, someone actually pointed it out in the comments, right? So, I had a few options. I could see it as a constructive comment, or I could take it negatively. I could fix the mistake and just move on, or I could argue about it. Honestly, I really appreciate Jimmy for pointing that out, So if you're watching, Jimmy, thank you so much. Now, there's a wonderful line that I read. It said, we cannot take or receive feedback if we're incapable of or uninterested in hearing from outside sources. Now, feedback is like a map, right? This map that shows us where we are on our journey. Without it, we're just wandering in the dark, unsure if we're moving forward or backwards. Now, think about it. Students need grades to know how they're doing. And just as athletes need stats to measure their performance, we also need feedback to understand our progress, right? And to figure out where we're heading next. Have you ever faced criticism when pursuing a goal? How did it make you feel? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's talk about negative feedback. It can hit us like a cold wave, making us feel like we've hit a wall, right? Sometimes it even makes us want to retreat and hide. Does that happen to you? But here's the silver lining. Receiving criticism is a sign that we're making moves, that we're putting ourselves out there. Now, instead of dodging it, we should expect it when we're doing something meaningful. Criticism, in its essence, is someone pointing out, right, what they believe or think is wrong. It often comes with a side of bias or disapproval. Now, here's a fun fact. When you start achieving success, guess what? Criticism often tags along for the ride. Take J.K. Rowling, for instance. She faced rejection from multiple publishers before finally getting Harry Potter published. Imagine she had let that criticism stop her. Millions of readers would have missed out on her incredible story. Or consider Steve Jobs, right, who was ousted from Apple, only to return and to lead it to new heights despite the critics. Most of us, we don't enjoy being in the spotlight. Why? Well, because that's when judgment comes knocking. But here's the truth. If we want to reach great heights, we can't hide in the shadows. Yes, people will notice us, and some will cheer us on, while others might throw stones from the sidelines. It's just human nature. Some people will feel envious and try to bring us down. You know what I call those people? I call them trolls. Now, criticism can come in sneaky forms, often masked as advice. You might hear things like, why are you starting a YouTube channel? Or shouldn't you be watching that new Netflix show instead of studying? See, these comments, they can't sting. But remember, they only reflect the speaker's insecurities rather than our choices. It's important to distinguish between constructive and destructive criticism. See, constructive criticism helps us grow, while destructive criticism aims to tear us down. For example, someone saying, your video could use better lighting. That's constructive, I think. In contrast, you'll never succeed at this. That's destructive. Some people might criticize us because they care, but let's be real. They might just want to protect their own comfort zone. They want us to succeed, but not more than them. It's a tricky dance, right? So, how do we handle criticism? Well, here's a few tips. Take a step back. When you receive negative feedback, take a moment to breathe and to really reflect before reacting. This helps avoid any knee-jerk reactions that we might have. Seek constructive feedback. Look for trusted mentors, right, who can provide valuable insights. They can guide you in a positive way. Now, in fact, writers often reach out to trusted friends before finalizing their work, allowing them to refine their ideas and create something amazing. Let's keep this in mind. Criticism is part of the success journey. When you take action, the critics will come out of the woodworks. Even the most celebrated figures, like Mother Teresa, for example, faced their fair share of criticism. See, the more you shine, the more attention you'll attract. Some of it is helpful, and some of it is just not worth your time. Don't let it scare you. Think of it as a badge of honor that makes you stronger. Imagine an artist sharing their work online and receiving mixed reactions. How should they approach the feedback? It's essential to sift through the comments, to embrace the constructive one, and learn from the experience. Or consider a student who receives a lower grade on a project, right? Instead of feeling defeated, they could reach out to the teacher for feedback and use it to improve next time. Now, in the book, The Scout's Mindset, Julia Gallup, she discusses how to handle criticism effectively, using Charles Darwin as an example. Now, when Darwin published On the Origin of Species in 1859, he anticipated criticism for his controversial theory of evolution. Despite feeling frustrated by unfair critiques, he remained calm in public and vetted privately. Darwin recognized that not all critics were bad. Some raised valid points and truly understood his work. One such critic, Francis de la Rive, wrote a fair review which Darwin appreciated, acknowledging the merits of his arguments. She also highlights how scientists embrace harsh feedback on their research. It might feel tough to take, but it's all about improving the work, right? By accepting criticism, they elevate their research and make a bigger impact. Gallup encourages us to think about our own critics, whether in politics, science, or even in our professions. While it's easy to label critics as unreasonable, some may have thoughtful perspectives. It's valuable to identify those who challenge our beliefs in a constructive way, and as this can lead to both personal growth and a better understanding. Now, I'd love to hear about your experience with criticism. What have you learned? Share your stories in the comments. Now, there's also an important part. Let's make it a habit to thank our critics. Right? They need to be thanked. A simple thank you can go a long way in acknowledging their role in our growth. Now, to wrap things up, here's a quote from Scout's Mindset. It goes, being able to name reasonable critics, being willing to say the other side has a point this time, and admitting when we were wrong, these are just the things that set apart those who truly care about the truth from those who just think they do. Now, as we set sail on our journey, let's remember that criticism is like the wind in ourselves. It can be uncomfortable, but it pushes us forward. Additionally, we won't be able to give or accept feedback if we're unable or unwilling to listen to others. So whenever we do face those waves of judgment, let's embrace them, using them to navigate our course and to steer towards our dreams. If you found value in this message, you might also like this video. Stop chasing your own shadows. Feel free to check it out. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. With that, have an amazing, amazing day.